Welcome back to the iRacing British Touring Car Championship, round 24 from Oulton Park here on BSR TV, with me in the commentary box, Chris Cohen, joined in the pit lane this evening by Clyde Whiting. Evening, Clyde.
Evening, Chris. Evening, everybody.
And Matt Dalton will be joining us in the commentary box at some point during this race as well. So, 2 rounds out of the way, 2 very exciting action-packed rounds, Clyde, and Robert Plumley starting from pole. That should make an interesting race.
Yeah, hopefully he can keep it there as well. He's got a lot of fast people behind him. Very interesting to see what Andreas and Simon do from 9th and 10th on the grid. This is going to be the best one out of the 3.
It usually is as well, the 3rd round of the evening, the final round of the evening as well. We're bringing you the grid momentarily, but a lot to talk about in that last race. Not much time to do it, but the main news is that Stelian Chepolevski was working his way up through the field after a disconnection in the first race, and unfortunately got rear-ended on the chicane by Tim Mawson, so that pushed him a long way down the field again, and such a shame for Chepolevski, who is at the top of the championship but won't be after this evening.
Yeah, definitely. He was very, very lucky with the start incident, or maybe very, very skillful, whichever way you look at it. Just looks like his luck ran out in the end.
And such a shame for Chepolevski, who's worked very hard all season to maintain that top spot, but this is as real as it gets without being on the track, and unfortunately, you know, all these things can happen. So a real shame for Chepolevski, but let's see how he does in the final race of the evening. Plumley takes pole in the reverse grid, and that's Russell Laidler there on the inside, and the orange CQR Fanta taking up 2nd place. Katz will start from the 9th position here, and the double winner from this evening, Ashley Sutton, who's won 2 out of the 3 races so far, will start 10th. Simon Field is just ahead of that bright green car you see in the yellow and black on the left hand side of your picture. Watch out for Tom Stanley, he's absolutely on fire this evening as well. He is the red car on the left hand side there, and Laura Bond is just in front of him in the white Bianco car. Excellent 7th place for Laura Bond, coming into at the end of the last race, puts 4th position on the grid. The lights are on here, Oulton Park, for round 24 of the iRacing British Touring Car Championship. And we're away. Let's see how Plumley can do off the start line. Let's hope we don't have another huge pile-up at the start. Looks like Plumley is losing out off the start. What's happened to Plumley? He's gone, and that's given the lead to Russell Laidler, and everyone files through okay there, thankfully, coming down into turn 2.
Through from the
oh, and Stanley sideways. Stanley is sideways on turn 2, and that's taken out Plumley as well. Just manages to keep it off the track. We've got a Dynojet off the track as well, but disaster for Plumley there. But did you see what happened to Plumley from the start? Because we didn't quite see why he got away so slowly.
No, but I'll check on it and get back to you.
Brilliant. So Russell Laidler leads this race, but Richard Wilde is up in the 2nd position already. Unbelievable start for Richard Wilde, come all the way through the field there, and he is looking to make an impact, and that's Laura Bond there in 3rd position as well, so a little bit of a gap forming after that incident with Tom Stanley. Stanley will be gutted after running so well in the rest of this race, but look at that just behind. Field just takes it from McCarran. That's Ellis Stevens coming through. Sutton is up to 7th position already, so a little bit more work to do if he wants to take all 3 victories this evening. It's going to be a tall order for him indeed. Where is Tom Stanley? He is always right down the field in 24th position after that 2nd corner slide. Really unfortunate there. Field then in 4th position, and McCarran 5th.
Russell Laidler doing a good job here and trying to hold off Richard Wilde. Laura doing a good job in 3rd.
Yeah, absolutely, and Laidler will have his work cut out because Wilde was able to slip past him in that last race. Laidler having to go defensive into turn 1. Wilde will get the run out, and he's going to be making it hard for Wilde trying to get round there, and Wilde looking for a way round. Laura Bond probably not going to pace to stay with these guys, but she's holding her own, and she's got that nice little margin that she's worked up after Tom Stanley's slide. Robert Plumley not doing so well out of that. He's down in 17th position, having a good old battle with Andy Diaz right now. Cats
Yeah,
up
just
to 8th.
looked at Rob Plumley's start there. Yeah, again, he just didn't get away. Lost 5 places before the first corner.
That BSR paint job just weighs too heavily for the minds of some, doesn't it?
Well, speaking of BSR paint jobs, one man who was not in the previous 2 races but has slipped in for the 3rd race is none other than Robert Burton. So he's down in 21st at the minute. Had to start from the back of the grid, of course, so hoping to work his way through the field. Dan Hunt is back in action as well, after being taken out on the start-finish straight at the very start of round 2 this evening. He's in 19th, having to start very low down again. Chepelevsky, though, in the points for the first time this evening in 12th position. So Chepelevsky with a bit of work to do as well. And this is going to get interesting very quickly, isn't it, Matt? Because we've got a lot of fast drivers lining up between some fairly fast but not quite so fast drivers just up in front.
Yeah, Chepelevsky will want to get past these couple of guys in front of him as quickly as possible. He is going to want to get as close to Andreas Katz as he can, and, well, you know, if I was him, I'd accidentally nudge him off. I've got to be honest, otherwise it's championship, you know, in trouble time, so...
Well, we're just watching a good old ding-dong between Sutton and Stevens. Sutton just taking Stevens around the inside of the final corner. Stevens not giving up though, so he's right on the tail of Ashley Sutton, who's now up to 6th place. Andreas Katz, meanwhile, wants to join the fray. He is just behind, and that's Janowski behind him. Laidler hanging on to the lead though, by not by much from Richard Wilde, but Wilde will know this is quite a long race, and he's got plenty of time to get round.
Yeah, we got a Yuasa, Stephen Hefford there, that's just come out of the pits, and he needs to get a wriggle on as well, because the last thing he's going to want to do is make a menace of himself for Laura there.
Well, I'm sure Stephen Hefford will move over when the time is right, because he's now separating 2nd and 3rd places in the field. Laura Bond's going to come under threat from Simon Field reasonably soon.
Yeah, Stephen Hefford actually got disqualified in the last race for hitting 11 incident points.
Well, a shame for Stephen Hefford, especially considering he was running very well. He gets out of the way, skips the chicane, so that's going to slow him down a little bit. Let's go back to that Field Bond battle, because Simon Field will be looking to make the pass as soon as possible. 2 third places for Simon Field so far, wants to make it 3, perhaps even higher, who knows, as Bond gets a little bit loose coming out of the second part of that corner. Look how close Field is right behind the back of that Bianco car, down the inside, takes the position. Don't think Bond will have too many complaints about that.
No, she just gave him the room and let him go again there, and it's stop being so nice to everybody, Laura.
Well, 4th place.
I'll cheat for the Laura Bond fan club, I'll be honest. I'm not going to sit impartial on this one.
Well, you have to say, not many women-girl races in iRacing, so good top work by Laura to be able to hold 4th position now on the circuit, and really good to see, you know, her holding up the female flag, as it were.
Well, it's not just that. It's Laura is a very clean, very fair racer, and you know, it's because of that you always like to see her well. And you always say with these things, you know, the more you respect your competition, the better they respect you, and Laura's prime example of that, really.
Well, she's just in the 4th position at the moment behind Simon Field, but 5th is Nick McCarron, so Nick McCarron will be looking to... Well, he looks like he's got his own issues. Sutton diving both ways. McCarron goes defensive as he takes the inside line down into the chicane. That's going to slow his exit, of course. Sutton's going to try and go around the outside, and McCarron's not giving him any room there, and that was very nearly an incident. But a good pass by Sutton, kept it nice and clean in the end. Just behind these guys, though, we've got Stevens still hasn't been overtaken by Andreas Katz, so he's holding him up a little bit, and Hefford is that back marker just behind these guys. Chepelevsky is in 9th position, so fantastic job to work
that car's been through the walls a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, might well need a bit of a paint job on that one after the race, I should say. It seems to be driving okay for the moment.
Yeah, Stellion was absolutely apoplectic with rage at the end of that last race. He was as upset as I think I've ever seen him, so I think he's probably been fairly aggressive in this. No, he's not easily upset. No.
But I think he probably had every right to be.
He puts an awful lot of effort into this series, and he's been working hard in that championship challenge all year, so to get rear-ended like he did would be extremely disappointing. So I suspect the nice guy routine is firmly and truly gone at the moment, I would expect.
So just coming back to that battle towards the front of the field, we're seeing Ashley Sutton up to 5th position now, and he's chasing down the back of that Bianco machine of Laura Bond up in front. He is driving that luminous green paint job of Team CQR, and he has won last 2 of these 3 races this evening, so doubtful he'll be able to get the win, but you never know.
Sorry, Matt, you've got Laidler and Wild are having a hell of a ding-dong battle up the front, which is allowing Simon Field to catch him up. Russell Laidler is driving a Kia M1 Abrahams Optima. It's so wide that you just cannot get round it.
Well, Layla and Wild had a good old battle in the last race as well, so it wasn't for the top spot, but they gave each other hell, and very clean racing, a little bit of door banging, but nothing too bad. And Wild will be desperate to get around before Field catches him up, because Field is Wild's main championship contender, and Layla taking a nice defensive line there.
The way Richard Wild is driving this on the back of Russell Laidler at the minute, you'd think he'd been watching the Daytona races, because that car it's not so much blue and white anymore as it is blue and white and all sorts of orange. It's bump drafting him around the track.
Not much to choose between. And Layla's got wide. It's given Wild the opportunity.
No, he'll have the inside for the next corner if he decides to go for it, which he will.
Wild trying to get the speed round the outside. Looks like he's done the job. Laidler not giving up much ground though, so he's still right on the back of Richard Wild. And this is a corner where people have different lines, so Laidler wants to be a little bit back from Wild, and he is, to avoid running into the back of him around this high-speed corner. That's allowed Field and Bond just behind to catch up. So we're halfway through this final race already, and the front 5 have separated themselves from the rest of the field.
Ashley Sutton is closing in on the back of all of them at a rate of knots as well, and we've already seen that he can overtake around here, so...
Yeah, one mistake up the front and the top 5 could all be gone.
Well, Richard Wild is now in the lead of this race. Laidler will have something to say about that, hopefully, as the race progresses, but not with Simon Field so close behind. And let's just join up with those guys on the camera as well, because Field looks to have made some light contact with the back of Russell Laidler's car there, but nothing too serious. And could Field steal 2nd place here?
Yes. In fact, I'm going to say he will. And I don't think he'll steal it, I think he'll barge it if he has to.
Well, the big wild card here is Ashley Sutton, and let's hope Bond can hold him off for a few laps. But he's going on the attack already. Sutton down the inside of Bond, and Bond lets him go again. So down to 5th for Laura Bond. Still a great result if she can hold that.
Yeah, slightly different that time. Ashley Sutton gave her no option whatsoever on that one. That was his. He was going to have it, and that's the end of that. So
the front 3, well, 2nd to 4th, are separated by a whisker, as Richard Wild is starting to pull away now. So if Wild can hold on to the same sort of pace he's got here, he should have this race.
Yeah, Simon Field is going to... Sorry, Matt, go on.
I was going to say Chepelewski is rather rapidly catching up to the back of Andreas Katz here as well. He's got Stephen Efford in front of him, and Steve needs to get himself out of the way again here, because otherwise he's going to get the monster treatment. I don't think Chepelewski's going to mess around with the back marker.
No, and I'm sure as we come onto this straight, Hefford should be getting out of the way there, because he's not quite got the pace, and was also a lap down as he pulls over to one side. Very sporting indeed. So that is Chepelewski with Andreas Katz just up in front, and Ella Stevens in front of him. So he's got
Red Rag Bull.
Exactly, he's got 2 eBay Motors cars to find his way past if he can by the end of this race. Only 5 laps to go, or 4.5 really. Chepelewski in the points, but will want to outscore Katz to pull back some of those championship points.
He'll want Katz not to finish as well, won't he?
Oh, and Katz has given Stevens the jump, so Katz is ahead of Stevens, so the next car for Chepelewski is Stevens. Yeah,
you've got to think that's team orders, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And the back of Simon Field's car is covered in Ashley Sutton. As Sutton goes down the inside here, Field's letting him go. So nice and wide from Field.
Chepelewski's just blown by the outside of Ellis Stevens as well. I'm not quite sure if that was... well, if that was team orders, then...
Well, I just don't think Ella Stevens wants to get involved, given that Chepelewski is on a real mission at the moment.
No. You wouldn't argue with that face if you saw it outside a bar, would you?
No, absolutely. So, Coming on to lap 8 out of 12 here at Oulton Park in round 24 of the iRacing British Touring Car Championship. Richard Wilde has a 2-second lead over Russell Laidler, that orange car, and his CQR pseudo teammate Ashley Sutton is just behind, so Sutton will want to take that 2nd place. We've never seen a driver win all 3 rounds in all the time we've covered this championship here on BSR TV. Sutton is going to be close. I mean, we saw Smolensky get 2 wins and a 3rd place. We've seen 2 wins and a 2nd place before, but if anyone can do that, break that trend, it's going to be Ashley Sutton. Laidler's going defensive as they come into the... Oh no, Sutton's lost
that's
it!
not the way to go.
Ashley Sutton has lost it under braking. He's going to get the slowdown.
Yep.
He has given away
It'll be a big one.
that 3rd place.
So your not winning all 3 races remains intact.
I should say so. Put the curse on him a little bit. Let's go back and see if we can have another look at that Ashley Sutton incident. Let's look at him all over the back of Russell Laidler. As Laidler takes a defensive line, as he probably needs to do here, and then just on the brakes we're seeing Sutton just get that car a little bit wide. I know he likes to run a very loose setup, and just as that car snaps back to the inside, he's quite lucky that he's ahead of Laidler, otherwise that would have been some serious contact there. Manages to avoid those rather solid tyres. I've got to say, those tyres in the simulation are concrete rather than tyre material as it would be in real life.
Yeah.
But Sutton is now down to 5th. So Laura Bond takes the 4th place back, which is interesting.
Well, she's sitting in the right spot there for the rest of them to tangle themselves up. That was she's said to be the big victor.
And Russell Laidler is now under attack from Simon Field. Simon Field with a point to prove, I feel. 2 3rd place finishes and what could be a 2nd place finish.
Will that give him the overall tonight?
I think it
With Katz where he is, it would be close,
probably
wouldn't it?
will. It would be very close, yeah. So
Katz
this is...
I'm going to make a prediction here. Andreas Katz is about to get the living daylight beaten out of him by the Addison Lee car behind him. I don't think Chepelevsky is going to be... I think he's going to be Mr. Nice Guy at all.
Field down the inside. That's an optimistic manoeuvre and had to pull out of that one. Can't take 2nd place. Bond's still right on the back of those 2, but let's pick up Stelian Chepelevsky and Andreas Katz, who's in the 7th position. I'd say probably Katz is being held up a little bit by McCarron, probably not quite as quick, so Chepelevsky is right on the tail of these 2.
He's done a great job coming through from the back to there, isn't he, Chepelevsky? He's driven the wheels off that thing.
Absolutely. Oh, Katz gets a little bit wide there, and Chepelevsky's down the inside. Coming into the final corner, he's not got the run he needs. He's going to have to pull out of that one. He knows better than to take the position there.
Oh, okay, yeah. He
just about gave him enough room.
Little bit fair there. He was surprised at that. I didn't think he would, to be honest.
Well, it's worth saying, isn't it, that Katz really hasn't put a foot wrong, and it's not for Katz to pay Chepelevsky's vengeance, if you like. So,
no, but he's his closest championship rival, and if you're going to pay it on anyone, it would be the one that would suit you in the championship the most, do you think?
And unfortunately we've lost Dan Hunt, so hopefully we can hear from Clyde on exactly what happened to Dan Hunt, because he was back in the action in 19th last time we saw him and doing well, but retirement there for the eBay Motors driver. So, go ahead, Clyde.
Yeah, I was just going to say, a couple of laps ago, it's nice to see Dan Hunt still running.
Yeah, unfortunately he's retired somewhere, not quite clear where.
Yeah, just having a look now.
Richard Wilde has now got a 3.5 second lead at the front of the field. Russell Laidler for CQR Fanta has driven exceptionally this evening, really, and he just didn't have the pace to keep up with Richard Wilde this time round. Richard Wilde will be delighted if he can hold on to take this win. Simon Field will be looking for a way round, and Bond's not far behind. But Sutton, after that incident that he had at the chicane, has made up the ground again.
Oh, McCarron's off. That's allowed Katz past him and Chepelevsky as well.
So let's see what happens coming down into the final corner. Katz and Chepelevsky are still nose to tail. Ellis Stevens having a look down the inside of Nick McCarron, looking to capitalise on his mistake. McCarron gives him a lot of room. And who is that just behind? Is that still Stephen Hefford?
Yeah, it's got to be, because Andy Diaz is out, isn't he?
Yeah, so Stephen Hefford, although he's a back marker, is still running pretty quick times there. And let's go back and see if we can see what happened to Nick McCarron just a moment ago on the replay. He was running very well, McCarron, up in the 6th spot.
Russell Laidler must have had that car widened or something. He's doing an absolutely unbelievable defensive job. It's given Richard Wilde the easiest run to a victory he's probably ever had. Simon Field will be pulling his hair out.
Okay, McCarron just a little bit late on the brakes there. Actually very well controlled from McCarron, just ran a little bit wide. Only lost the time that it took for those two guys to get round. And an update from Clyde then.
Yeah, just had a quick word with Dan Hunt. He got into a bit of a tangle with Eckhart von Glan. And to use the words of Dan, after that I couldn't be beep.
Oh dear. So a shame for Dan Hunt, not the best evening of racing for him. But look at this 3-car train we've got forming with only 2 laps to go. Simon Field, 3rd place, Laura Bond 4th. Oh, and Sutton's taken her on the inside. Bond runs a little bit wide, and Sutton takes no hesitation.
Not exactly gentle there, Ashley Sutton, was he?
Very difficult place to overtake. Yeah, and once again, Laura always choosing the non-contact option, which is perhaps wise for her to protect that 5th place.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not entirely sure she was given an awful lot of choice in that one, to be honest with you. Ashley Sutton, I think, has driven really well all night. Wild, but, well, I think he'd have won this race if he'd been able to get by.
Well, Richard Wilde with almost an insurmountable gap on the last lap here at Oulton Park. 5.5 seconds now. The questions remain as to whether Field can find his way around Russell Laidler just up in front. Laidler would love to take a 2nd place in this championship.
Upset Simon Field for the rest of this week, just show him something orange.
Oh, and Katz, what's happened to Katz? Well, Andreas Katz, is he disconnected, or is he... Well, we're just having a look at that on the replay now to see what's happened to Katz. Chepelewski was right behind him. And what has happened to Andreas Katz? They're just coming down the straight after turn 2. He's gone. Disconnect from Andreas Katz, and incredible, absolutely no points for Andreas Katz now, so that's going to help Chepelewski no end.
Well, that's huge, isn't it? That's a massive help for him.
So, well, I'm just trying to work it out in my head now. It's a bit early to say, but Chepelewski's currently in 6th. As we come around the final corner with Richard Wilde to take the victory in the 3rd race, round 24 at Oulton Park. Congratulations to Richard Wilde, expertly driven the entire race, made up a great deal of places off the grid, takes the win. Russell Laidler will hold on just about for 2nd place, 3rd Simon Field, 4th Ashley Sutton, and 5th place, although that's not showing correctly on the screen either. Some reason the timing goes to pot at the end of the race, but that is a 5th place for Laura Bond, 6th place Chepelewski. Rie comes home, I said it wrong again, didn't I? In 7th, McCarron 8th, and the Diaz managed to fight his way up to 9th position there. And 10th goes to Alexander Smolensky, who was quiet all evening, really, wasn't he?
He was. In and amongst everything else going on around him, I'm not really surprised. Katz disconnecting is karma, perhaps, I think, balancing it out with some of the bad luck that Chepelewski's had tonight. So the two of them are that even in everything they do. They even get bad luck in the same time. So
well, unless Katz just pulled out his internet cable because he felt bad.
No chance.
No?
I'd say there's absolutely no chance that's what he did.
Categorical denial there from Matt Dalton. That was a fantastic 3rd race, as we predicted. Let's see if we can have a quick word with 5th place finisher Laura Bond, because she did fantastically well in that 3rd race. Laura, are you with us?
Hi there, Chris.
Welcome to BSR TV. What a finish, 5th place. You must be delighted.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. I didn't manage my incidents very well, so I had to drive the last 4 laps with only 1 to spare, so I knew I couldn't touch anybody, otherwise I'd have been disqualified. So that was a bit of a shame, but I'm really pleased with 5th.
So
that explains why you jumped out of the way when Ashley Sutton decided to throw one at you with a couple of laps to go.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to attempt to go there. I'd have kept my foot in if I'd had some more incidents to spare, but I didn't, so I just had to leave him and let him go.
And do you think you had the pace to keep Sutton behind you? Because you were right on the back of Simon Field for a long time.
No, he's much quicker than I am, so no, I don't think I could have held him back. And actually, I thanked Nick, because I think if he'd let Andreas and Stelly through, then I probably wouldn't have been able to hold them either, so I probably owe some of my points to Nick.
And what's the key to the consistent form? Because we saw three very consistent races this evening.
Just practice, just seat time, just doing laps. We do lots of practice sessions throughout the week. They're really good fun, and it just means that you can be much more consistent on the day.
Well, fantastic results.
Yep, great results. The Laura Bond fan club was in full swing up in the commentary box here, you'll be pleased to know.
Oh, bless you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Laura. And that's Laura Bond there, driving for Bianco. That's her best result of the season, I believe. But the big news is Andreas Katz. We lost him in the middle of the race. Just wondering if we might be able to get a quick word with Mr. Stelian Czepelewski. Are you there, Stelian? Don't think he's available for comment, which
probably
which
just as well.
Which is a shame, because would have liked to have heard his thoughts on that last race, especially.
He's probably got his fist in his mouth.
Yeah, I suspect his thoughts probably would have been a string of expletives, so probably just as well on that one. Simon Field would be a good one to have a chat to, if we can grab him.
Well, he's always up for a quick word with BSR TV. Simon, are you there?
I am indeed, no different.
3 third-place finishes, if I'm not mistaken, Simon?
Correct, yeah.
Fantastic.
Not a bad day's work. I have to admit, I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit disappointed about race 3.
We were just saying in commentary, I suspect if we want to upset you for the rest of the week, we just have to show you something orange.
Yeah, well, I felt I had the pace. The problem was I had the pace in the wrong places. I couldn't get the run into the passing zone, so there wasn't a lot I could do with it. I threw a couple of speculative moves, but they didn't really come off. So I can't really complain. 3/3 is a top day. So.
And of course, you'll know by now that Czepelewski didn't have the best evening of racing, so that will have closed the gap up at the top of the table.
It will certainly bring me a bit into Cheppy's lead after missing last week, but Andreas still had a strong weekend, so I'd imagine he's still way out front.
Yeah, that could be the case, but we saw a disconnect in the final race from Andreas Katz, so I'd say in the last 6 rounds, especially with consistent form like you've had this evening, it might well be all to play for.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you look back at what I've done, I think I've scored with these 3 now. I think it's either 16 or 18 top 5 finishes this season, so that's kept me up there. I don't quite have the pace for the top 3 or 4 guys, but finishing consistently seems to be doing it, so fingers crossed. A couple of rounds left, they could have a bad weekend again, yeah.
Simon, it's Clyde.
Mm-hmm.
Quick word on your incidents. Any idea what your count was at the end? Because your car looked worse than second hand.
Well, to be honest, the damage was only, I think, one when Richard got past Rusty. He did it into the chicane. He was quite slow through it, so I gave him a whack up the backside. But I think that's all that was. I know my incidents were very high. I was careful on the last lap. I think I was 9, or what was I? Yeah, 9 again. So this race wasn't too bad. The first race I was on 8 incidents after 4 laps, I think. So I had to really baby it. But the rest weren't too bad.
Well, Simon, thanks for that feedback, and congratulations on the 3 third-place finishes. And the rest of the season is wide open.
Indeed, fingers crossed.
That's Simon Field there for Wix Racing. Good of these drivers as well to take the time out, especially considering they've just been in a really heated battle and some of them aren't in the best mood. They're very good to take the time to talk to us here on BSR TV, so thanks to all the drivers, especially for providing such entertainment this evening.
Yep, definitely. Be interesting, is Ashley Sutton still around? Can we grab a word with him as well? I think he's had a blinding of an evening. And
Ashley Sutton is showing as disqualified on the official results. 11 incidents.
I wondered, he did come across the line and go off into the wall. I wondered if that may have happened.
Now, if he's disqualified after he's crossed the start-finish line, what effect will that have?
It's still a disqualification. I'm not sure exactly what it does to the results, but pretty sure it removes you from the standings.
iRacing results, incidents count until the last car has crossed the line, which would promote Laura Bond up to 4th.
Well, that's an interesting turn of events, because it would promote everybody else as well. So Chepelevsky would have scored more points, as would everybody behind him as well. We're not going to be able to.
He got 6th, I'm showing you.
So
yeah,
that
he's
could have been
showing
5th.
6th, but it might be the official result.
Well, we'll have to get back to you once we've spoken to the series organisers and had a look at the standings, which we won't be able to do during this broadcast, but we'll be able to bring you that next time out. Next time out will be Silverstone, and that's going to be rounds 25, 6 and 7. Silverstone brings its own set of challenges.
Yeah, it's a very fast track, some really challenging sections. It's the older Silverstone, not the newer one that people will be familiar with from watching recent Formula 1 races there, but you know, an open fast track with a niggly little tight section at the end, that'll be some good racing.
Should be fascinating, and we'll be here as usual broadcasting that one live here on BSR TV. If you're desperate for more iRacing action, you can catch the Skip Barber series, which will be coming to you on Monday, and that's from about 8:30 in the evening UK time. Hope you can join us for that. If not, we'll see you next time. The British Touring Car Championship hits up BSR TV. Thanks for watching. See you next time.